Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Inside Artesian Football here on WREP 15 Sports. I'm your host, Eric Meyer, joined as always by head coach Carter Whitson. Martinsville moves to 5-0 on the campaign with a big win on the road at Franklin last Friday night. We'll come back with the coach and we'll talk about that contest. We'll also look ahead to the Artesians game coming up this weekend as well at home. Let's go back, though, to the Artesians' victory on Friday night over Franklin. And, Coach, this is a game coming in that we knew you would have some difficulty with Franklin, especially offensively, the fact that they do some things that you guys aren't used to. But really, when you started looking at that, your defense played outstanding once again against the Grizzly Cubs.
Yeah, they really did. They started out, again, not as fast as we wanted to, but once they got settled in, I think we gave up 24 yards total offense in the second half, which is unbelievable. Everybody in our conference plays it a little bit different. Franklin's empty the whole time. Greenwood's going to run it right at you. Decatur's got all those athletes. This week we'll see something completely different. So, our defense to be able to adjust and to be able to, make adjustments on the fly and at halftime has been really successful. And I think that really kind of started last year, this game versus Whiteland too, where they kind of figured that out and started to, really get in a rhythm defensively.
You mentioned Whiteland. We'll get to the Warriors here later in the show. The fact that you have another top 5 showdown here at Siderewicz Field on Friday night. But back to the Franklin contest. You mentioned the slow start defensively, offensively a little bit slow going, but eventually you guys get it put into gear and end up with a pretty big win over the Grizzly Cubs.
Yeah, it was a good win. Anytime you can win on the road in this conference is good. So, again, we still don't feel like we've put all the pieces together all in one game. Our defense played well, our offense played okay. Still had some penalties that killed us. Didn't create a bunch of turnovers. Had one turnover. So little things like that. We got to continue to get better and put it all together. I thought special teams were really good for us last week, and those guys are really good at it. So, our kids stepped up to the challenge.
When we had talked on the show last week, you had talked about the fact that you want to be able to start to spin it a little bit better in the games that you'd been running. The football would like to throw it a little bit better. Well, you threw it better on Friday night against the Grizzly Cubs.
Yeah, Travis had a good game, and the wide receivers had a good game. Michael Hoppel made some huge plays, and Matt Thomas, and then we can get it to the tailbacks too. Getting healthier back at the wide receiver position, getting Brian Johnson back is big time for depth, and we'll continue to keep getting better at the outside right position while Andy's out. Andy's getting healthier, so we're excited to get him back here pretty soon.
We talked about it earlier on that the Grizzly Cubs were going to present some problems to you guys offensively with the fact that they do a lot of things that you hadn't really seen, and the fact that they've got a 6'3", 240-pound quarterback,
270,
or whatever.
He's a big old boy.
He was a big kid and a good athlete at that. He can throw it. He can run it. But like we said, you guys did a really good job. But why do you think you guys were so successful at being able to corral what he was able to do? He really had gone for about 400 total yards in his prior 2 or 3 games.
I felt like we had a pretty good plan going into it. We did make it a little bit of an adjustment going to a 3-down lineman look, and then getting some more linebackers on the field just to be able to cover the pass because they were in empty, and then be able to come up and tackle that big kid too. So first half we kind of went with a skinnier lineup is what Coach McKinney called it, and then the big boys came back out in the second half and really just shut down the run. And anybody you play, if you can stop them from running the ball and make them one-dimensional, we feel like we've got a chance. Got some good corners. I still don't feel like they played the greatest game. They got beat a few times deep and we got lucky. So it's good for them to see that and continue to challenge themselves to have better weeks of practice and play better on Fridays.
You come away with a 31-7 victory over the Grizzly Cubs. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the win over Franklin on Friday night.
Offensively early in the game, here's an inside zone with Isaac making a big play here. Great blocking up front. We can read that and the quarterback can pull it. It's just good to get him the ball. He's going to pound it and make people hurt a little bit. We go empty right here and quick pass to Matt Thomas, getting a first down. Matt's continuing to play well and be a good leader at the wide receiver position. Here we go on defense. Big kid, he's hard to tackle up high, so we continue to tell our guys to tackle him low. Like I said, 240, maybe 270. He's a really good football player. Big time play by Seth Gallion right there, playing dividers to the field and really helping out his safety on a post route. So that was cool. That was great to see. Here we go on a 3rd and long. Travis keeps a sprint out and goes and gets first down, gets some good block in there. It's just good to see that guys can make plays even though, it's not exactly how it was drawn up on paper. Here's a deep shot to our senior slot receiver, Michael Hopple. Just a phenomenal catch. Great throw. Pretty good protection. Could have been better. Travis took a shot, so it's good to see him step into the pocket and take a shot. And then, there's 5 again, just running downhill. He never falls backwards, same like 34. And, we're going to grind it, and we're going to go fast as much as we can, get in the end zone. So now we're up on them. They're driving a little bit. Felt like we got a turnover on a kickoff return, but didn't get the call. And then they get the ball. They go down and score on us, which is the only points we gave up. Again, that was, I think, the 3rd or 4th game where we got 0 points in the second half with our starters, so that was encouraging. There we go, running it right at them again. Hunter Hankins had a great game at left guard. Obviously, Travis's stats were good, throwing the ball, completions, but guys like Garrett Miles right here making plays on broken plays. Seth Gallion had a big one that we'll probably see here in a little bit on another broken play. Those are just some veterans that know what they're doing now. Now we got a little rhythm here, faked a bubble and then hit Hopple again. Wanted him to get in the end zone there, but made a great competitive catch, good protection, and we stick in that same quads formation and hand it to Isaac. And Isaac gets in the end zone like he does quite often so far this year. Back to defense there in the empty, and we're ready for their quick passing game, right there. If they throw that, Jacob Burkett picks it off and scores. So, we get them to stop throwing it and make them run it at us, and that's what we do when people run it at us. They go backwards. So we were pretty excited about that. Defensive line had another good game. Here we go back on offense on a 3rd down conversion right there to senior Seth Gallion. Senior playing both ways, working really hard, doing really good. Back on offense, a little outside zone here. Great block by Isaac Whitaker getting the play started. Brian Johnson in there getting the play started. Like I said, it's nice to have him back. It's really good for depth and really good for blocking. There's Isaac not getting tackled by the first guy, the second guy, third guy. I'm telling him to be smart right there at the end of the play because I'm standing right there on the sidelines, and then he tries to run over about 9 dudes, so it shows you how he listens to me. There's Travis on an inside zone. We took that play from Columbus East, who has a lot of success doing it. So, we've had we felt like we've had a lot of success with the big running quarterback and a tailback that people key to. Chase Havlin, Logan Byram making the play there. You see us, and it's rarely ever one guy just making the tackle by himself. It's group tackle, getting them all together. Senior Chris Brown in there making some plays. He played a really good game, second half especially. Marino and Havlin are just animals on the outside, so we like having them. Here we go with a little quick passing game, cutting them down at the offensive line. Our guys like to do that. Gives them some easy blocks, and defensive linemen don't like getting cut. And then here we go, empty, running it right at them with, our quarterback that's also a pretty big boy. I talked to Coach Cole before the game, and we said pound for pound, that will be the best quarterback matchup in the state with their 270-pounder and our 220-pounder, so that was pretty fun. Here's another broken play. We actually bust at the right receiver, but Travis calms down and makes a great play, hits Seth with another broken play, but scramble drill. That's just good, senior leadership from there. Going up tempo, running it at him with the quarterback again. Here we go, getting under center and just trying to grind it out and use our big boys to get in the end zone. Travis gets in there. It's an easy one. He needs to thank the O-line for that. He didn't have to do too much. And here we go, back at them, empty, spreading them out, seeing where they're not. If they're going to play in the box, we're going to throw it, and if they're going to play outside of the box, we're going to hand it. So Travis has those abilities to do that each play, which really helps us. Here's a 4th down conversion for a touchdown. Great block on the outside by Garrett Miles, another kid playing both ways, and Isaac gets in the end zone. They've got some defensive players. Their coach's kid's a really good player, and to see us finish right there while he's the guy missing the tackle is always encouraging.
Yeah, through some mutual friends, we were at the IU game on Saturday. That dude's a big dude.
He is a big kid.
Coach Cole's kid is, and a good athlete as well. And like you said, you guys had an excellent game plan coming in, and you come away with a big victory.
Yeah, it was. Again, any conference win at home or on the road's great. And those guys are getting better, and they're in our sectionals, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them again.
The other team that you may see in sectionals, but you'll see this weekend coming up, is the Whiteland Warriors, and we really talked about it last year, and you thought that was maybe really the turning point game last year.
It was.
You got the win over Franklin, but really the comeback win over Whiteland you thought was the turning point.
We go to their place. I think it was their homecoming, which, I would have scheduled us for homecoming too until now. So we go in there with a little chip on our shoulder and don't play extremely well in the first half. We'll talk a little bit more about their offense, but it takes a little bit of time to adjust to it. And we get down, we go into halftime, and we have a great plan and fix some things and come out in the second half and play phenomenal. Special teams, we got an onside, we hit some long field goals, we scored on a 79-yard pass. Like, we did some stuff explosively like we like to do, and it just took us a little while to get into that rhythm last year versus them.
Now they may be thinking on the flip side of it, coming in here, it's not our homecoming, but the fact that they have some chance for maybe a little bit of redemption on their mind. It's another top 5 matchup, number 2 and number 4. A lot of the eyes in the state of Indiana will be here. IHSAA TV will be here to broadcast the game as well. So again, another huge game for you guys, not just in the standings overall, but the Mid-State Conference as well.
If you look at us in the conference right now, every game's pretty important to us. So, they'll come in a little bit not happy with us, but we have to look forward to that over the next few weeks because we beat everybody on our schedule, last year from here on out. We beat Plainfield at their place on senior night. They're not going to be happy. We beat Mooresville in a rivalry game. They're not going to be happy. So we need to be ready for it. We need to be used to it. When you're one of the top teams in the state, you've got a big target on your back, and our kids have embraced that and really started to, all right, they're going to give us their best shot, so we need to play really well.
Whiteland coming in. You talked about Franklin last week. We really talked about it in week number 1. Some teams that do things differently that you don't see every day. Well, Whiteland's one of them as well. Coach Cuttriff used to call it the fly offense that they would come in and run, and so you're going to see a guy in motion just about every down, and people call it the jet sweep now, or the jet motion. But what are you going to see? What are we going to see out of that offense?
You're going to see multiple guys going a bunch of different directions for them. That's what they're trying to deceive you a little bit. They will hand off that jet or fly. They'll hand it off and they'll run outside with it, and then they'll hand it off and kind of cut it up and try and go north and south. And then their key is they're running back number 1. They want to do all that misdirection and stuff, but really they want to get the ball to him and have him run it right at you. He's a good player. He's hard to tackle. So they kind of make it fancy. They kind of give you something to look at and make you think hard, but really they just want to run it right at you with a big O-line and a good running back.
And when you look at their stats, that's what they've done, run the ball right at you. Almost 1,800 yards rushing on the year, and all of 70 through the air. So they aren't going to throw it very often. They are going to try to run it, but that's what Coach Fisher's teams have done.
Say.
They've done that for years.
Yeah, that's who they are. I know they're down a quarterback, but again, their offense is based around, getting outside on jet sweeps and handing it to the tailback. So, if we can stop the run and make them throw it, we feel like we'll have a really good chance.
Now, on the flip side of things, what are we going to see out of them on the defensive side on Friday night?
Yeah, you'll see they're very multiple. They'll play with a 3-down front, and they'll play with a 4-down front, kind of depending on what formations we're in. We're going to see if we can get them into the looks we like. They'll play off in the secondary and play some cover 3 and cover 4. Not a big press team, not a huge blitz team. They'll bring pressures from the outside and from the inside, but not on a regular basis. So, we're going to have the ability to do what we do. We're going to go fast. We're going to run it at them. We're going to throw it, hopefully throw it well. See what their adjustments are too, because again, they've played Franklin, which is an empty team, but we're quite a bit different than Franklin.
High-scoring game last time the two teams met over at Whiteland. We expect some of the same on Friday.
Well, I hope we score high. I hope our defense continues to play as well as they have all year, and then offense keep picking it up. And that's the goal every week. We always say light up the scoreboard and shut them out. So those are the 2 goals. So we'll see if we can get it done.
Try to get it done on Friday. Before we leave, let's run through some keys that you think you guys are going to have to do to be successful on Friday night.
Again, we're going to have to stop the run. We talked about, they've got all the jet sweep and they hand it to 41. And he's a good little player, but really focusing on number 1, their running back, stopping the run. trusting our teammates, trusting our coaches of do your assignment. You don't have to tackle the jet sweep if you're supposed to be in the box. So that's a big key for us. We've got some veterans. A lot of our defensive guys played against them last year, so they feel like, we feel like we've got a better, just beginning of understanding of what they're doing. And then offensively, we need to spin it around. We need to hand the ball off. We need to run it at the quarterback. We need to be able to throw it to our outside guys and inside guys and kind of just go where they're not. This will be a big game with turnovers. They're really, really good on special teams, really well coached. Just watch them fly down on kickoff, and you can tell that they're coached well and they play hard. This will be one of the groups, this season that'll play the hardest out of anybody that we see. So that's just kind of the reputation they have, and that's what Coach Fisher does.
And that's what we'll expect, a hard-nosed ball game coming up on Friday night between number 2 and number 4. Get out there, support the Artesians. Great crowd. Last time Decatur came to town, great crowd on the road.
Phenomenal
last week.
Crowd.
Awesome, wasn't it?
Awesome crowd at home, and then we go to Franklin, and there's not a seat available in the visitor side. We had people standing up at the fence. We need a bigger turnout. We need a crazier crowd. They'll see some good stuff uniform-wise that people will be excited about. But really come out, support us, be loud, make it hard on them when they're on offense. Get off your seats, ring your cowbells, and have some fun with us.
All right, it'll be fun out there on Friday night. Coach, we appreciate it. We'll see you there Friday.
All right, thanks.
Artesian head coach Carter Whitson here inside Artesian football. Martinsville coming up. Big game, top 5 teams going at it. Number 2, number 4, Martinsville, Whiteland on Friday night out at Siderewicz Field. Get out there early and support the Artesians. As always, I'd like to thank the head coach Carter Whitson for coming in. For Coach Whitson, along with the advanced broadcasting class who helped produce it, I'm Eric Meyer. We'll see you again next time inside Artesian football.
Hey!